Hey boys and girls, welcome to Munro Live again. And I'm here with Jason, and he is going to tell us about this wonderful new vehicle, pickup truck, and what we would classify as cab forward and cab rearward as far as the stance.
That's
and
right.
This is the size of?
It's actually shorter in length than this year's two-door Mini Cooper.
Which is amazing. Not only that, this will haul plywood. A full 4x8 sheet of plywood, right?
That's right. 5 seats, a 5-foot bed as it is. Seats fold down, you can put a 4x8 sheet of plywood in.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's have a look at this side a little bit. And this side a little bit. And you can see that this will seat 5 and 2 up front. And it seems to be, to me anyways, fairly luxurious to get in. So let's just take, and what happens when I want to haul the plywood? Let's look over here, because I'm really impressed. Here you can see that the rear seat has been collapsed or folded down, and there's a fold flat seat, which is kind of cool. And then you've got basically enough room to put a 4x8 sheet of plywood in.
That's right.
All within a dinky, tiny, little, teeny weeny. I'm really kind of surprised at what you've got with this vehicle. That's amazing. So, from a crashworthiness standpoint, you haven't done any crashworthiness yet, right?
Well,
for pre-production, or?
We started the company with the question poses from a first physics principle, which is the minimum required frontal crash zone necessary to meet all FMVSS 208, both from full rigid FRB 56, or front rigid barrier at 35 miles an hour, and SORB offset deformable barrier. And so we did the physics-based simulations using LS-DYNA to determine what that minimum viable length was, gave ourselves some padding, and said anything that sits in front of the occupants has to be completely compressible into nothing, disappear underneath the vehicle, or just completely, not be there.
Crush.
So if you take away what would be a frunk or an engine or anything that sits in front of the front occupants, you can optimize the front of the vehicle just for frontal crash safety. And then after we determine that, we package the occupants rearward from there, and then a 5-foot bed, and ended up with 152 inches long.
Cool. I'm really impressed. Lately I've been seeing quite a few really innovative things, and I've always wondered, why is it that we don't have, like a mini truck? And here we've got a mini truck with a maximum kind of payload. I'm really kind of impressed. This is very, very cool. So when I'm looking at this and trying to judge a few things, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is, what will the consumer be paying to buy one of these?
Yeah. So first off, this vehicle is really meant to be a truck for downtown cities.
Yes.
So I live in downtown San Francisco. I have a 150-pound dog. I have a mountain bike and snowboard. And so I drive a Toyota Tacoma. And I love my Tacoma, but I can't ever park it in downtown San Francisco. Like, there is not an available parking spot for me ever. And so this was really bred off of that idea that there's a lot of people that want to do truck stuff.
Yeah.
They love the idea of a truck, but they live in a city and they can't actually own a truck.
All right.
So when we talk about what consumers and commercial customers ultimately that'll be using these vehicles are going to be purchasing for, you have to look at what they're using today. So either they're buying a truck and having to deal with the emotional and the financial and all the implications of not being able to park it where they need to park it, or they have 2 vehicles, which is very common in downtown cities. A truck for recreation or for work utility purposes, and a small vehicle like a Mini Cooper, or if you're a commercial customer, like a small low-speed vehicle.
Yeah. Well, speed is the next deal, I guess. But what do you think, first off? What do you think the
price of the vehicle?
Yeah.
I think it's planned to start in the 40s, so 41,000.
41,000.
And go up from there.
Okay.
Like,
and how big is the battery?
So the way this vehicle spec'd is 4-wheel drive, 106 kilowatt hours.
106 kilowatt.
Bigger battery pack
bigger than
a Tesla.
Yeah.
Yep. So in the footprint of a 2-door Mini Cooper, which the EV Mini Cooper is about a third the battery pack size, we've managed to package 106 kilowatt hours. So the optimization we have for our battery pack, and we're not going to talk a ton about all the underlying technology, but the optimization for the battery pack is volumetric energy density. So we have 380 watt hours per liter when you look at our battery pack. from a full enclosure.
Wow, that is very, very impressive. This thing will go a lot of miles.
A lot of miles.
What's the curb weight for this?
4,400 pounds. Actually, these prototype vehicles actually ended up significantly lighter than that because we clad them in carbon fiber. So they're about 4,135 for these vehicles.
Yeah. But you're ultimately going to go to
stamped aluminum.
Yeah. Okay.
For the body panels.
Wow, I'm pretty impressed. So, if we're looking at right now, what would be the range on this? Because I'm thinking and trying to calculate, and
350.
That's 350. I was thinking even higher than that.
Well, you have to remember, like, we do have very small frontal area, so that plays in our favor. We have low rolling resistance because of the curb weight, but we also have exposed front tires. So our coefficient of drag is not quite as good as like a Rivian's coefficient of drag. It's not bad, but it's not by any means Tesla level coefficient of drag.
So you give up a little, you get a little.
That's right.
And for me, the little part is really kind of impressive. Yeah. So this one here is the one on your website. This one here is brand spanking new.
Well, we've shown the world this one over the last. So we launched in March 6th, I want to say. I think that's correct. March 6th, where we showed the world this vehicle. And we'd kind of been keeping this one on the back burner for a while. So this was shown for the first time in the world on Friday.
Cool.
And we all did this all with 11 people and 4,300 square feet.
Just take a little view around here. This has got to be one of the most dramatic new vehicles I've seen with the folks that you've got, and basically this very small operation here, five grand, 5,000 square feet. Did you say?
Yeah, so 4,300 in here, and we have a storage unit out back, so it's about five grand.
Wow. I can't begin to tell you how big this operation would be if it was at like a General Motors or something.
And we have a full battery MPI line behind the store. So we do cells in, battery pack out.
Really?
Yep.
Are you allowed to talk about whose cell you're
We
using?
haven't announced what cells we're using, but there are 2170s.
2170s, yeah.
But we do the entirety of the battery pack creation from the ground up. So everything from the electrical connectivity, thermal connectivity, potting, we call it the sled that has all the electrical connections on it. Gets packaged in these boards. This vehicle gets lifted up. These get rolled underneath. The vehicle comes down. Battery comes on.
Yeah.
We do it all ourselves.
Wow, cool. That's extremely amazing. Is kind of the only word that keeps coming to mind for me, because, quite frankly, like I say, the bigger. When did you start this program?
We started the company in June of 2022. And we, 3 years.
Wow.
But we'd started the company with exactly what you'd expect: plywood bucks, foam models, everything. Like, we had a friend of ours had this giant 30-foot by 20-foot CNC that we just cut an entire vehicle out of foam on and threw some fiberglass on and said, hey, here's what we're going to build. And got enough people excited about it that we built our first rolling chassis, which was neither of these ones. It was a vehicle that roll cage over there used to sit on, to prove to ourselves that we could actually package all that into that footprint, we said. And then when we got to that point, we said, hey, it's time to actually build some real vehicles and show the world that this could be possible.
Well, so you were mentioning who the investors and whatnot were. That was kind of a surprise as well. Why don't you talk a little about that?
It's public knowledge, but both founders of Tesla invested in us. And Mark Tarpening, one of the founders of Tesla, he sits on our board. And he's a big part of the decisions we make. Wow. On top of that, Andy Palmer, who is the ex-CEO of Aston Martin, ex-CEO at Nissan, who launched the Leaf, he's an investor, and he's made a lot of the connections for the supply chain that we have for these vehicles.
Wow, that's the big thing, is supply chain. Have you had any problems with just
yes and
getting
no.
people's attention or whatever?
There's people that certainly won't work with us. You're an early stage startup, you haven't built anything, you're operating with 11 people. There's some people that certainly won't work with you, and we'd say that's great. We don't want to work with you if that's the perspective you're in. But there's a lot of people that do work with us. People that you wouldn't expect, like, oh, these are huge name tier ones that have prepackaged off-the-shelf components that are already in other vehicles that they've got a supply chain running for, and they're like, just go buy.
Wow.
And we do a lot of that. So really the only core innovations in this platform are the frontal crash safety, the battery pack, the packaging, and the design. Everything else we try to get as much as possible off the shelf.
Wow. What about seats?
That is another one that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Let me actually show you the seats. That's a cool thing. So talk about special sauce. So you've noticed that the wheel well is structural as a part of the actual vehicle structure.
Yes.
And because you sit, as you said, cab forward, you're not cab over, but you're cab forward.
Yeah.
Which has an actual definition by FMVSS standards.
Yeah, I know.
Which is where the center of the steering wheel is in the first front quartile of the vehicle.
Right.
So that enables us to be cab forward, which has implications for FMVSS 219. But when we did that, you actually ended up with these structural wheel wells that would get in the way of you getting in and out of the vehicle. Your ingress and egress would be impeded. If you had a seat structure that, like most seat structures, had seat rails on the bottom, so we actually turned the seat rails upside down, built them into the base of the seat itself. So this seat slides and leans, and all that structure sits inside the seat, and it sits on a pedestal to allow you to ingress and egress.
Well, I can't begin to tell you how many folks thought about doing that and changed their mind. And the reason for that was because nobody else was doing it.
Exactly.
So there you go. And there's nothing like, hey, it's a good idea, let's do it, as opposed to, hey, that's a good idea, wait a minute. If nobody else is doing it, there's got to be a reason.
Well, we went to tier one. This is a good example of we went to some tier ones and said, hey, would you build the seat for us?
Yeah.
We've designed it. And they go, sure, we'll do it. It's $10 million and it'll take us 24 months to do.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to do all this validation work that you'll pay for and do all this. We're not doing that.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you, so far, I'm very impressed.
Well, hopefully you'll be a little more impressed when we go for a drive.
Well, I think that's what we're doing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Leave that door open then. Let's go for a ride. Okay, so let's head on out, see what it's like. You do have to try this launch, but not
wait
until
for these cars go.
Oh, this is really kind of nice. Yeah, I'm impressed already. I drive a few prototypes, not so many, but I do drive prototypes every once in a while, and I would never in a million years try that with one of those. Mainly because they're worth a shitload of money. Oops.
Yeah.
I can't tell what.
You got it. It's right in the middle.
There we go. There we are.
Quirkiness of the.
Oh, wait a minute. This isn't it. It's up there, right? At this
It's the stoplight.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that middle spot where
well,
it
it's yeah. I'll see if I can find it here in a second.
It takes a second, so you get it to the middle and let it sit there for a second. It'll turn off.
Okay. Well, I'm going right.
You're turning right
so
now.
I'm gonna wait until I'm around the corner, and then I'll see what I can do.
Lesson learned: don't build your own.
So
stops.
the big thing is these seats are firm.
Very
and
firm.
I like firm. I don't like mushy. I have a back issue, and mushy seats are a problem. Actually, the best seats on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, are in the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. I love those front seats. In fact, my chair at work is exactly that. It's a Model Y seat that I put on rollers. And I don't know what the rules are in California, but I'd rather not take a chance on making a right-hand turn and
You're good to make right on red in California.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna go around here.
Watch this
and
cop.
That looks like a cop.
Yep.
So let's just turn that off and look
right
very respectable.
Yeah, exactly. There's plates on this. Don't need to worry. Just no front plate.
Well, as long as, do you have an M plate on here?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, in Detroit, they look at those and
You can take it right. This
sometime right here.
At the light.
Oh, at the light. Yeah. Sometimes you'll get away with something, but not often. I don't know what the police are like here, but we're not going to test that part of our ride and drive here today.
Just don't go slamming on the accelerator. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he's probably looking exactly for that. We probably already heard that somebody slammed on the accelerator, made noises.
We'll take a ride at this street coming up on the right.
And actually, your suspension is, for a prototype, is pretty damn good.
Yeah, we spent a lot
The
of
steering
cycles.
is tight. The I don't get a lot of wave and surprises. So
yeah, we spent a lot of cycles on the vehicle dynamics piece of this.
Yeah. So what type of suspension do you have?
McPherson front and then multi-link rear. McPherson front, obviously, because your feet are really where suspension supposed to need to be.
So you need that. That doesn't take up so much room.
And the multi-link rear was interesting because we wanted, so like in my Tacoma, the wheel wells are not 48 inches across, like 46 inches across, because they have large struts that come up the side. So we wanted a suspension architecture that let us package the wheel wells as wide as possible, so we could have a full 48 inches across. You can pull in if you like.
You know, I really do think that this is a winner. I like this. Everybody that's coming up with something new, like Slate and Ford and a whole bunch of, they're all looking at the small car market, but this is really small. And I don't know of anybody that's got anything going on like this. And you know what's really cool? We did the club car vehicle, and you still have to pass crashworthiness and whatnot with that vehicle. And by using the suspension as your tires basically as cushion as well, it's
exactly.
It was it's how we got through. I mean, you can't believe how hard it is to make things happen well if you're driving around and all of a sudden you get into a situation where you you got no front end really, and so the wheels suddenly become your new best friend.
It's actually 100% correct. We are a Class 2 truck. It's important to note, a GVWR of over 6,000 pounds.
Right.
So from an FMVSS perspective, from federal perspective, we're totally in the clear with his frontal exposed front tires. In fact, this bumper sits about an inch in front of the tires themselves.
Yeah.
But there are state rules that have certain regulations for passenger vehicles that talk about bumper having to extend across the entire front surface, except for Class 2 trucks.
Perfect. That's perfect. I'm really kind of impressed. Well, what else can you like?
I can tell you lots.
I'm just looking. I'd like to have a look at the gaps. Now you've got bigger gaps than normal, but as long as they're
consistent.
Consistent, and you've got the little tunnel.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh my gosh, just like your friends at Rivian. Now, I don't know how many kids you're going to be able to put in there, but that'll be great for, the children.
The idea is that we don't have a frunk, so you need lockable storage somewhere.
Yeah.
So 7.5 cubic feet of storage that can fit 3 carry-on luggages underneath. This is, we call it the monster tunnel because it hides under the bed.
There you go. Yeah, this is like a monster.
In the future, this is very, you'd appreciate this, but the architecture of the vehicle is, it's hard to say like skateboard top hat kind of architecture because everything blends together these days, but stamped steel, structural frame rails, and the body is bonded on top of it as a stamped steel part as well, structurally. But that means that we could do different bodies using the same skateboard structure as well. And we could do an SUV with a third row of seats. And this could be a footwell for that third row of seats. We've got an NACS charge port, as you'd expect to see in all vehicles, and back left. This lights up green depending on the state of charge, so you can just walk up to it and understand, am I fully charged, half charged, what have you. Other than that, it looks and feels like a real vehicle.
So are you, with this, I'm assuming, are you going to use the Tesla system then for billing and stuff like that?
That's the intention, but we'll see how it all shakes out a little bit. We're kind of in a wait and see scenario.
When do you think you're going to have this thing on the road?
We'd like to deliver the first vehicles at the end of next year.
At the end
low volume.
Yeah.
These are going to largely be hand built in many ways. But we want to get these in customers' hands even before we hit our high volume ramps.
So those will be, you can't use them as experimental, but that's the only word that comes to mind.
They'll be homologated.
Right? Homologated. So
they'll be first articles.
Yeah. Wow.
And then cool thing, oops, I just pinched that. Cool thing about these guys is natively built-in steel tow hitch, so 6,600 pound tow rating. In fact, we've towed that vehicle with this vehicle on a trailer.
Wow, cool. I do like the, I don't know if you're going to keep using this, but I do like this look.
Ms. May's fabric.
It makes it easy, or easier, So there's two kinds of styling: style lines and basically beauty lines. This turns into beauty lines because you can't see where it starts and stops and whatnot. So
yeah, you can't, like when you have Class A surfaces on the front of the sides of the vehicle, like every little reflection of light has a different way you anticipate it. On the interior, people have to usually do very, very like high fidelity Class A surfacing too. But if you wrap it in a textured fabric, it doesn't need to be all that level of finish.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I really think you've done a good job. I didn't get a chance to sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
What did you think, Grace?
It's tight, but it's
Well, let me try it out. Let me see if I can get that stupid microphone out of the way. Here we are. Oh, it's not that bad at all. And
the nice thing is your feet can tuck underneath the seat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's because of the seat track that you've got.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow. That's like on the old minivans.
That's right. That was the inspiration here.
Yeah. Well, it's good for snow.
And fill caps will be here. That'll be the...
So where is your fluid going in?
So fill caps will be underneath the panel here.
Okay, great.
So
I would just put it right on top. I wouldn't even waste my time because we've been suggesting this forever. At one time, we actually had a patent for that. We let it drop, but at the end of the day, that's what you want to do because people don't want to lift the hood. They don't want to lift anything. They just want to get to it.
The only issue with putting a fluid cap here, and I'm not saying it's not solvable, is you got a really high pressure zone of air that comes over here and jettisons through. This is the radiator, you can see.
Yeah.
And it jettisons through and then it splits and kind of follows this line.
Yeah.
And so anything that disrupts it here is going to make a pretty big.
Why not a push? You just go click and pop it out, and then
that'd be great.
Stuff. Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, you won't have any problem with that. Cool. Well, I absolutely love it. I think this is a winner. I really do. Is this functional?
Yeah. So because we have exposed front tires, you get a high pressure zone right behind the front wheel.
So you get rid of it. Yeah.
It doesn't quite get rid of it entirely, but it certainly helps.
So what does it do from dirt and stuff?
It's high enough up in the travel of the wheel that we don't get a ton of it. But it does, like we took it to Pismo Beach and we got a nice little pocket of sand. That's that right here.
Ah, very good. Well, it's a souvenir for going to the beach. If you're going to go to the beach, you got to bring back sand. It's the way it works. Yeah, I really like it. I really do. And you said this is going to come in at what? 40 what?
Starts at 41.5, and it'll go up from there. So we have configuration that has a smaller battery pack in it using LFP cells that is about a 260 mile range. But people have largely been configuring the long range vehicle. It feels like a lot of people that are looking at this vehicle are looking at it for a vehicle that serves purposes to do many things. And the idea that they could use 350 miles persists.
Well, you're right close to the mountains, and people do like to go to the mountains, going skiing and whatnot. And going up, it's going to suck the juice, but coming down, once you got regen, you wind up getting pretty much all your mileage back. So for me, I don't know how far away, I don't ski, but I don't know how far away it is, but I probably would think hard. How much differential is there in the cost if you go with the LFP
it's like $5,000, I think.
$5,000. Nah, not worth my time. I'd probably just stay with the long range as well.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the same number of cells, just a more expensive cell with a little more energy in it.
Yeah, right. Cool. Wow. So what else do you need the world to know here?
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to fill you in on I feel like you guys have a very technical audience, so I'd be happy to fill anything. There's a lot of times we meet with a lot of YouTubers that don't have that same technical audience, and I don't get a chance to talk shop too much. So
at the end of the day, we've talked about the suspension. You've got multi-link in the back and McPherson in the front.
Yep.
The steering, dare I ask, is this like steer by wire?
No, it's not. It's attached. I mean, we have so we actually built our own steering rack because, again, that's one of the ones where suppliers were interested in working with us. Yeah. Built our own steer rack using an off-the-shelf e-pass unit and have it coupled to the steering wheel. So theoretically, you could drive it by wire with the e-pass unit alone, but I felt like for a prototype vehicle, if anything failed, it's always good to have mechanical linkage.
Yeah, and that's fine. So what voltage did you go for?
On the battery pack?
12 or, well, that's all the same, but did you go to 42 or 12?
No, we're using 12 for the whole architecture. Yeah. And the same reason we use 400 for the battery architecture is because it's just what was commercially available off the shelf for the majority of components.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, everybody's kind of using it right now. And going to 900 volts or 1,000 volts or whatever, big wheel. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm driving and I've gone 260 miles, I have to pee. And you plug in, you go and do whatever you have to do. You come back, and I've got enough to get going again.
That's right.
I don't have to. I'm not going to gauge my life on. Well, it has to be as fast as putting gasoline in a car. Even if you put gasoline in a car, guess what? You're still going to run to the restroom, or you're going to buy something to eat or whatever. It always is the same.
Here's
the only difference is you don't have to move your car. You plug in, you go away, do what you do, come back and take off. Cars in the same place.
Yeah. So here's one you'll like. Because of the packaging constraints of the vehicle, we actually ended up implementing a dual zone cooling architecture. So the front, this radiator is only in charge of moving fluid that cools the cabin through its condenser evaporator and system here, and the front motor inverter. That's it. The rear has its own cooling loops that does the motor inverter in the rear, the battery pack, the combined charging unit, the DC-to-DC converter, and theoretically we could do an HVAC system in the rear if we had an enclosed bed. If you're a commercial customer that wanted to keep things cool or warm in the back, we could do that. And that's completely separate from one another.
Well, this has been very, very informative. I love your truck.
Absolutely.
And this has been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Munro Live.